Hey guys, I don't normally do this. I'm only doing this because I want to talk about something, and it's going to go a little longer than normal, and then I'm going to post it. I still haven't figured out how to make videos. Let me turn my mic down just a little bit. How to make videos from scratch using my software. I'll figure it all out. But nonetheless, if I asked you guys who is the all-time great high school quarterback out of Texas, who would you say? You would say names like Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, and some of the great things they achieved, even Baker Mayfield, right? Some of the great things they achieved in high school, in college, in the NFL. But the all-time leading passer in Texas prep history is Grant Gunnell. Grant Gunnell, right here, this is his picture. I don't normally do this, but I got it up for you guys. Grant Gunnell just transferred to Sam Houston State. You see it at the top here. In high school, Grant Gunnell threw for over 16,000 yards. He was everything. I can remember his freshman year, his very first game. Over 400 yards passing, 7 touchdowns. And at that point, he was on the map. Everybody knew who he was. At one point, 24/7 Sports, Rivals, On3, all these websites, and this was back in like 2014, 2015 timeframe. At one point, he was the number 2 quarterback in the country. He was everything. I think a top 50 player. At some point, he ended up a 3.5, 3-star guy, almost 4 stars, but it didn't go so well. But the thing is back then, he had an offer from Urban Meyer at Ohio State. He had an offer from Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M. And he was going to take over, after Johnny Manziel had just left. So you have Grant Gunnell, this all-time great 6'6", 230, prototypical strong-arm quarterback. And then Kevin Sumlin gets fired. And he goes to Arizona. And at this time, I lived in Arizona. So, or I used to visit Arizona, I should say. And I go to Arizona, and I go to a game, and Grant Gunnell's not playing. Although, as a true freshman, he did play. Their starting quarterback was Khalil Tate. If you guys remember Khalil Tate, how the mighty have fallen. Khalil Tate was amazing. And Khalil Tate's the starting quarterback, and they're running the spread offense. But there's this guy, Mazzoni, the offense coordinator, and Noel, I think. And Grant Gunnell shows up as a freshman and balls out. Let me pull up his stats here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. As a freshman, Grant Gunnell starts getting in time with Khalil Tate. And we're talking about a guy throwing 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. He becomes a fan favorite at this point because they already know. In high school, he's the all-time greatest at I think he threw 190-something touchdowns in high school, over 16,000 yards, averaging over 4,000 yards a season. Now, he didn't win state titles. I think they won a lot of games. And then the year he left, they went like 2-9 the next year. His St. Pew was his high school. But you can see where he took care of the ball. Khalil Tate, 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And then you have Grant Gunnell, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. It's just a guy who knows what to do with the ball, where to place it, and he plays great. And it's unfortunate because there was a quarterback controversy because Khalil Tate was on every list. He was a dark horse to win the Heisman. I want you to think of like Frank Harris currently, right? It's like no way some true freshman is going to show up and take reps from him. But Grant Gunnell did this as a freshman. He even started a game against UCLA, and he played great. I remember he came in off the bench against Northern Arizona early in the year, and he looked sensational doing it that freshman year. Then the next year comes, and this is when the wheels fall off. I think the next year was 2020, the COVID year. They go 0-5, if I remember correctly, and they lose to Arizona State 70-7. It's an all-time terrible loss, 70-7, and I'm talking 7-0 to Arizona State. When you lose to your rival like that, they fire Kevin Sumlin. So now they fire your coach, your offensive coordinator's gone, and at that point the wheels kind of fall off for Grant Gunnell. But I'll tell you what, that 0-6 record is not indicative of how he played, because when you go to the next season's stats, and I'll go to 2020 and pull them up, even in a losing season, and he didn't play the whole year because he got injured at some point, but he still went 64 for 93. This is this is almost 70% completion percentage. He knows how to complete passes. He goes 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's doing nothing wrong. This guy is a good quarterback. He's great. And unfortunately for him, he ends up transferring. And he transfers and he goes out to Memphis. And in the preseason in Memphis, he gets injured and he misses the whole year. And I'm forgetting who takes over the job. Is it Lindgren or somebody? Somebody wins the job and never loses it. So he transfers. From that point, he transfers to North Texas. And he gets to North Texas. He's coming back home. This is a Texas kid, the all-time greatest quarterback in Texas history. And he's at Texas, and everybody goes, oh, man, he's going to rip it up at North Texas. Unfortunately for him, he was a backup. He didn't beat out Austin Ani, who's going to be somewhere trying to make it in the NFL. If you don't know Austin Ani, 29 years old playing college football. He became a millionaire, went and played baseball initially. He went the Drew Henson route, right? The Joe Mauer route. Joe Mauer never went and played college football, but he probably could have, but he stuck with baseball. So anyways, Austin Ani goes the baseball route, the Brandon Weeden thing, and Drew Henson, Brandon Weeden, a couple guys have done it before. And Austin Ani comes out, and he plays pretty damn good and gets North Texas to the conference championship. Now they lose, and Seth Luttrell's the head coach there, and they fire him after the season. And they fire Luttrell, and then they hire Eric Morris. Eric Morris comes in, and Eric Morris, he's a Texas guy. He was an offensive coordinator at Washington State last year. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he's looking for, the kind of quarterback. He likes them kind of dual threat quarterbacks, athletic. And he brings in the quarterback, Chandler. Man, what's his name? Chandler. He's from ULM, the starting quarterback. Chandler Rogers? I think Chandler Rogers is his name. They bring in Rogers. I can pull it up and check. Let me see here. Let me go to North Texas real quick, just so I can make sure I'm factual, because I don't like being wrong. They're moving to the American next year, and they're bringing in Chandler Rogers. There it is, ULM, Chandler Rogers. Yeah. So they're bringing in Chandler Rogers, the former ULM starting quarterback, and they've already identified him as being their guy. 6 foot, 180, completely different, very dynamic, and they said he's going to be the quarterback. So at that point, Grant Gunnell says, all right, well, I guess I got to go somewhere else. So where does Grant Gunnell go? Because he's been great every time he's on the field. Any chance he gets, he's on the field. If you look at his stats collectively in his career, if you just click on Grant Gunnell as a whole, and you look at this stat line, the totals, you start getting really impressed with some of these numbers. Now, last year at North Texas, 4 for 9 with 1 interception, not good. But this is very good. What he did at Arizona in the spread offense, under a good coach, good offensive coordinator, it's impressive. So he transfers to the winningest college team in Texas. And what I mean by that is since 2010, no team in college has won more games than Sam Houston State. Now, Sam Houston State, the most remarkable program right now, as far as I'm concerned. What they're doing needs to be commended. What they're doing as a program with the players and the coaches, somebody needs to follow this template. Let me explain. Sam Houston State declared that they're going to go FBS. Remember, they won the national title in 2020 at the FCS level. And they said, man, we're going FBS. We're going to be a part of Conference USA for the near future. We're going to get there. Once you declare, and then you up your scholarships. You go from 63, which is the limit at the FCS level, and you go to 85. The minute you declare that you're going FBS and you get those 85 scholarship kids, you cannot compete in the FCS playoffs. You can't win a conference championship. So you just say, all right, this year's a wash. We're preparing for the FBS level. It happened at Jacksonville State. It happens at every school. And the one thing they did was they said, hey, guys, we're going to redshirt all our starters. So last year, if you look at their record, it's not good. They didn't look like they went. They're like, oh, this team is not ready for the big time. But the one thing Sam Houston State did was they played all their starters 4 games. And if you hadn't redshirted yet, you used your red shirt. It's incredible. These kids were being told, these are starters. Everybody's fighting for playing time. These starters were told, hey, red shirt, develop. Don't waste this year of eligibility. We're playing at the FCS for nothing. When we can play at the FBS level, we can get you an extra year of eligibility at the FBS level. Just stick around. Remarkable, because the players trusted the coaches. It gave all the underclassmen a ton of playing time, because once all the starters got benched and redshirted, after playing their 4 games, yeah, the wheels fell off. Yeah, they won a bunch. They lost a lot of games. Okay. But those underclassmen got a ton of experience, a ton of tape. They're not asking for practice tape. They got game reps. Shout out to what they're doing, right? And Coach KC at Sam Houston State just doing what he needs to do. And what's cool is when you look at the transfer portal, those underclassmen, now they're being told, hey, you got to go back to the bench. Hey, all the starters are back this year. Don't get crazy. You got some good playing time, but you're just development. You're still developing. You're developmental. Only 2 of them jumped in the transfer portal. That's trust. That's amazing. Only 2 of them. And Cameron Alexander, he's a good kickoff returner. Decent corner, but a better return guy. He's going to UTSA, so he went down the street to San Antonio. Can't blame him. Good program. They're winning. And then Eric Conley probably doesn't belong at the FBS level. He was a true freshman last year. Probably not an FBS level guy. With Sam Houston moving to the FBS, hey, man, he had to go. But check this out. These are all their transfers they got in. John Gentry coming back home. This was an all-time great running back duo out at North Shore. Went to Utah State. Didn't amount to much. Got it. But he's coming back. Xavier Ward actually transferred up to Washington State. Didn't work out. Coming back down. Not to be confused with Cam Ward, just so we know. And it's pretty cool to see Rhett Larson leaving SMU. You know, a young kid, 1 year of eligibility wasted, redshirting. He's still got 4 years to play. Coming over to Sam Houston. That's a big body kid, and you can develop this guy. But Grant Gunnell is the gem here, man. This is his last year of eligibility. He might even get a medical hardship, my bad. But he's coming over, and I think he's got a shot to start for Sam Houston. This is a team that's going to win 5 or 6 games in their first year in the FBS. It's remarkable. To get the all-time prep statistical leader in Texas history, to make him come full circle. This is a kid who was supposed to go play for Urban Meyer or Kevin Sumlin, 2 marquee coaches back in the year, back in 2014, 2015 timeframe. So shout out to Sam Houston State for being exciting and doing things the right way and having a lot of trust and development in their program. But shout out to this young man, Grant Gunnell, for not giving up on his dreams. I don't care that he's not made an impact anywhere. He's only thrown 9 passes in 3 years since those first 2 freshman and sophomore years out at Arizona. But man, I'm really pulling for him. So thanks for watching. Shout out to Sam Houston State for doing things the right way, kind of unorthodox. And I'll see you guys around. Peace.